backstretch at Saratoga. This is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Handicappers Report Opening Day 2022, live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino. Very nice morning out here, Seth.
Beautiful
Good morning. Definitely a Seth Merrow tie.
Absolutely.
No doubt. We can't wait to see the barrage this year, but very nice morning. It's always, not counting family, and this is my favorite day of the year, obviously. Opening day at Saratoga through the years.
Christmas for horse players.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just, it's just wonderful. I mean, it has always been a great place to attend the races in person. I enjoy racetracks, obviously, immensely, so I'm happy to go to some, and there might not, I've told the story before. We went to Delaware Park a couple of years ago. There wasn't a single person in the grandstand. The casino was full, but
it's a nice track.
And it's a nice track. It has always been known as having, if not the most beautiful paddock, one of them. And our family had a great day. I mean, the concessions were very affordable. It was a wonderful experience. But Saratoga is one that gives you everything you could ask for: outstanding racing, and crowds that are upbeat and young and just really energized. A terrific card, 40 days of racing, and it'll be a little fatiguing. Although I would say, and I'd ask you, even as we advance in years, the 2 days off is really a godsend for me. And at this point in my life, and working for Capital Off-Track Betting and getting up here early in the morning, it really changed it for me that it was all I really needed, as my 59th birthday will be on Saturday. It's my brother's birthday today. It was our sister's, youngest of our four sisters, yesterday. And don't think we didn't add up and realize that our oldest sister's birthday is 9 months before the three of ours. So they must have been a heck of a party. But happy birthday to my brother John out there. So Bastille Day, I think, in France. That was always his birthday. But a great card. We're going to have the 1 mile races out of the Wilson Chute 2.0, and it's just a great day. Great to be at the race.
My brother was born in May. My sister was born in May. My older sister was born right at the beginning of June. Me, January. Yeah, and I am 11 years behind as well. So
okay.
All
right. Well, I'm 10 years and 2 days behind. So I'm the change of life baby.
But getting back to coming here on opening day, driving up Crescent Avenue, which I do every morning, which butts right up to the middle of the clubhouse turn.
Okay.
And about 3 blocks away, you start to see the horses working out, and it's just,
when
fabulous.
You show up at 8:57, you're going to run into those. Me, I've been coming up Nelson Avenue since Jimmy Carter was president, and we've said this before. The only time I ever had issue was American Pharaoh's Friday.
Oh, I was talking about that with somebody just the last couple of days. That was insane.
And for those who have never worked with me or done social engagements, I'm usually like 40 minutes early. I never worried about it because I think I got to Nelson Avenue about 8:10, and I knew it would no way. I mean, if nothing else, I'll just park and walk. But Seth was running onto the set. That was the most amazing morning of my life here.
It was that was incredible. Folks don't remember, American Pharaoh won the Triple Crown. He was going to come up here to the Travers. They had announced a workout and opened the front side and the back side. Who I was talking to the other day, we mentioned they were 3 deep on the backside, and the count was, I don't think there was an official count,
No.
but it was about 10,000,
Yeah.
12,000 people there to watch him work out that morning. It was, and it just, as a horse racing fan,
It was tremendous.
It felt great.
And, and I always tell people, 37 years. I was a freshman in high school, completing my freshman year in high school when Affirmed won his Triple Crown. And, I was into my 50s when the next one came. A couple other things for people such as myself. The 40th anniversary, Seth, of the summer when we ran 27 straight days.
I was about to say, when you mentioned the 2 days off, I remember the summer.
1982. I completed my freshman year at USC, but apparently on the East Coast they had so many snowouts that they needed to make up the days, so we ran 27 straight days in the summer of '82, and I couldn't find it in the house, made my wife giggle, but not on the calendar, but opening day Saratoga '92 was the inaugural tabloid side edition of the Eastern edition of the Daily Racing Form. The West Coast edition had been tabloid size for years. We grew up with the broadsheet like the New York Times, and on opening day '92 at Saratoga, they went to the tabloid size, and now they have tablet size. So a couple of things, but
and I remember the ink on your hands.
I used to wear white shirts a lot. It'd be like I used to hold it
Exactly.
on my right hand side, right about here. It'd be all roughed up there, but and I tell people, and I can understand it, but sometimes people will say to me like, "That didn't happen," and I was like, "It absolutely happened that we ran 27 straight days." I vaguely remember the idea that when people left, they're like, "We're never doing that again."
I was about to say, it was
Ever.
an idea that was tried once. but,
Yes.
I think everybody was
Well, what I mostly
wiped out
remember of
by
that
the end
is,
of that.
I think most people, what they remember out of that was Conquistador Cielo losing the Traverse Stakes, never running again. And I remember that. In addition, I think it was exactly the race before it. Winter's Tale set the still standing mile and 3/16 record here. And the reason I bring that up is I like the idea that they got with the idea of kicking off the meet in front of the fans. I know it's odd, but I wish they'd run either a mile and 3/16 race or a mile and a quarter to really bring the grandstand people in. Whether it's a starter allowance, it doesn't matter, but just to really get it up into the stretch. But I'm glad. We've had years where they started sprints or on the turf, but the first track that I picked up that did that was Del Mar. They, as far as I can remember, start right in front of the fans for the first race, and now we do it at the spa.
Yeah,
so.
it's a tradition. If you're here for the first race, go out to the rail and you get to yell, and they're off at Saratoga along with John Embry.
Which is pretty special.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's always fun opening days. I say Christmas for horse players, and I was sitting home, before I drove in today and flipping the channels, and all the local channels are here. It's a big deal in this area, as it should be. It's our professional sports in the area, so it's at the horse racing level, this is as good as it gets.
And I was telling Seth, I think off the air yesterday, our family summer vacation was London, England this year, and just a couple days ago. And I was telling Seth, we went out to Wimbledon, which you would guess is a sporting crowd, and many people that, horse racing was known as the sport of kings, and tennis is kind of that group. So a lot of people enjoy the sports. And the look on people's faces as we were there for hours, we're talking with people, we're like, I'm like, well, we're from, 20 miles south of Saratoga, and their eyes would get like saucers, like, as if, that's the Holy Grail. And I tell people, it amazes me that around the world, people's view in their hearts and minds is like the Mount Everest. And sometimes I don't get that locally. Like, I'm like, do you know, I was trying to tell somebody last night, I think mostly because they were talking about Wimbledon, how long Wimbledon's been around. And obviously, ESPN was trying to make it like and I'm like, we've been running at Saratoga longer than Wimbledon, so it's great. And the weather is great right now. There's a little breeze up here. It's spectacular.
It is absolutely gorgeous today, so it's going to be a great opening day. So if you haven't made plans, come up, and if you decide to go to your local OTV parlor. We'd love to have you there as well, or play via OTV Bet on your cell phone or tablet or whatever. And there are plenty of opportunities, and will be for the next 40 racing days.
Basically, the schedule is, obviously we didn't run yesterday, but Wednesday through Sunday, and we'll run on Labor Day. Will be closing day, which it's, I want to say, COVID made it a little odd for my memory, not the sickness, but just, I don't know, maybe 26, 27 years we've been closing on Labor Day now.
Yeah.
And I've told people this. I said, and I'm sure we'll refer to it, when I have experienced Saratoga as a non-24-day meet far more than I experienced it as a 24-day meet. I mean, that's how long 1991 when they started the expansion and went to 5, and then now gradually we're what? We're it's an odd thing, but we're at 8 weeks. If you take the last
the
Monday,
summer place to be. It's become.
No longer August, but the summer place to be.
Should we get to the play of the day?
We're going to get a lot of them, but no. Yes, the play of the day we should get to.
DePaula play of the day during the meet. It will be alternating between our friends Steve Bick and Kevin Koch, the Brooklyn Cowboy. Today is Steve Bick Day, so. Up next, we will bring you the DePaula play of the day, and then Anthony and I will jump into this opening day card at Saratoga. So stay tuned.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Silverado, just $3.99 a month. Yes, $3.99 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the DePaula Play of the Day. Second year that I've been involved in it. I'm looking forward to it. Had some success last year, and let's try to start things off with a good price. And that's my approach for these plays of the day. The idea is not necessarily the most logical winner on the card, but I want a horse that is going to be a good price and has got a good chance. To start things off, it's Rusty Arnold, Vintage Year, a point of entry gelding that is coming off a couple of performances at Churchill. I think gets a rider upgrade from Jose Lescano, has shown a little bit more interest and some speed in his most recent starts, and another forward move could get the money for Vintage Year. 8-1, good value in this field of 8. Kind of a group of suspects, honestly, that have had a handful of tries. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to reach for a price. And that's what I'll do for 20 different plays of the day. The DePaula play of the day. It's the 4 Vintage Year in the 4th race. Rusty Arnold, Jose Lescano, BBN Racing. Let's get the money. Let's have a great, safe, fun meet. We'll see you out there. I'll be with you on Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. I'm loose on the lead with Seth. I'll give the DePaula play of the day on the TV show on Sundays. Thanks. Good luck, everybody. Enjoy the meet.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Equinox, just $259 a month. Yes, $259 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Handicappers Report. I want to thank Steve Bick for the inaugural DePaula play of the day for 2022. I like a price horse in that race also. We'll get to a little bit later. That's race 4 for Steve. 10 race card. Post time 1:05, and one of the things that I remember from the 24-day meet and 1989 forward was when post time used to be 1:30, was that the feature went at about 5:30, and nowadays with the feature being the 9th race instead of the 8th race, it goes at about 5:30.
Well, nowadays you can have a feature as the 3rd or the 4th race. That was never a thing.
Naira never did it. California did it, but I think you're right. A couple of years ago, I want to say about 6-7 years ago, I think they ran the Schuylerville as race 3. I think that's, I know they did it. I don't know if I have the exact year. I know it was, I think I'm right with about 6 or 7 years ago, Schuylerville went as race 3. Not the case today, but the opener, as I mentioned before the break, starting in front of the fans, which is well-deserved. Claimers in for $20,000. Once around the oval, 1.125 miles.
I have it 6, 7, 8, and 9. I put Bear Alley on top without a lot of confidence in this race. I think it's one of those races, we're at this mid-lower level for New York anyway, claiming level. And so, nothing really jumped out at me. But I thought Trainer is a high percentage guy, very good off the claim. This one comes off the claim down at Churchill and moves up a little bit. But you go down the page, and this horse has been against better. Comes in off a couple of wins most recently, so in good form, good off the claim trainer. Flavian Prat on board. We talked about him yesterday in our kind of pre-meet show where we were talking a little bit about the jockeys. Going to be fun to see what he does this year. But I'll put that one on top. Giacari in the second spot. Speaking of jockeys, Jose Ortiz, it's Orlando Noda. He's also good off the claim, and this is another horse that is off the claim, so I thought that horse was playable. And with a little bit of class relief from the last race, went into a starter allowance, Royal Tryst. 2 races back, though, went last in for a tag, won pretty convincingly. So I think the class move is going to be beneficial there. Luis Saez is on board Royal Tryst, and he was, of course, the meet's leading jockey up here last year. So again, this jocks race is going to be a lot of fun this year. But I have it in the opener, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
I went differently, 1, 6, 3, and one thing, Seth, about the opening of the meet and how you want to tiptoe into the water. I used this example a couple years ago. It was about 7 years ago. We had these weekend handicap bankrolls, and I had seen. I was coming in for Saturday, the first day, and I'd already seen Sunday's card, and I knew that the horse that I most liked of the 21 races was going to be in the second race on Saturday. But I can't go hog wild because of the bankroll. I got to get to Sunday afternoon. It was Monster B, by the way, who I think only won one other race in his career.
Was that the horse that came in for one of the race?
From Presque Isle off a sprint, got to the turf, and won the Oceanside a year later. But I don't think won too many races other than those two. But so my point is, I generally kind of tiptoe into the waters from a wagering standpoint because I don't know what we're going to get. But I'm inside. I have the speed with, you see me 163. It's Parsimony, whose last race was at Parks. And I thought an excellent race. This horse will be easy to follow around the racetrack. At this point in his life, he's practically white. I know it reads gray and roan, but this horse is practically white. In the last race, down at Parks, going there, mile 70 yards, showed good speed. Was pressured the entire way by the horse who was the eventual winner, who was 2-1. This horse, my horse, Parsimony, was 3-1, was third choice in the wagering. The favorite ran third. But Parsimony, I thought, put in a very good effort. Wasn't a winning effort, was not going to win this race. And this horse was in under the allowance conditions, as was the Superfecta. But really only gave up the place in the last 50 yards. I know it ran off the board. He ran off the board, but I thought it was a very good effort. He's inside going 9 furlongs. Kendrick Carmouche rode him at Parks, has the mount today. He's won on this horse at Parks. I like him, and I was thinking, Seth, that I think this is the one that's going to get lost in the wagering of the. This horse is probably the fourth choice, and I like Parsimony, who I think figures to get a good trip from the rail. I have Bear Alley for second in here, first off the claim, 16,000. Then Auburn Hills at a big price, but 163 in the meets opener.
Race number 2 on Thursday afternoon. We're looking at maiden special 2-year-old fillies. These are, these 2-year-olds are kind of one of the specialties of Saratoga. We always look forward to. 5.5 furlongs is the trip, and an interesting field in here. What you see in race 2?
Well, I don't see much. I don't think anybody else will see. I enjoy them as much as anybody. I love the fact that a couple of years ago they brought that restricted language in for the sales price. And good job by the racing form, because rather sure now, when those horses come back in the PPs, it signifies it was one of those restricted maiden special weight races for the price, which is a good job. I think this will not surprise many. The 6 has got to be the chalk in here, right? They're going to bet.
I think so, and I think there's a little buzz on that one.
Aren't you dialed in? I've heard buzz. I've said this before. 4 horses in my life, and 3 of them have won.
Well,
I
mean,
never hear.
This is not the if you've only heard 4. This is, I don't know if it's in that category, but I think there's enough buzz to think this horse is going to be the favorite.
Okay, you didn't put it on top. Buzz didn't work. I don't hear the buzz, but it's, to me, I think it's 6-1 with the general public, and we have the same horses. I mean, this is not a cop out. You can all look up the pedigree, Todd Pletcher, Mike Rapoli, Open, all that stuff. I think even for the casual fan is aware of. I don't have. If inside information exists, I'm not the guy ever. Forget those 4 times. I've been coming here regularly. That's like 1 every 10 years, folks, so don't count on that. But chocolate gelato, right? But the thing to me that I like, and you talk about a lot, is no surprise, Practical Joke is off to a good start as a stallion, so that's where I'm going for. And it costs nearly $500,000, and I think Chocolate Gelato wins on opening day. I had half a chance. Is the veteran in the group, comes out of the turf sprint at Belmont Park. I thought the winner was very strong that day. So, yes, beaten on debut, but I thought a good beaten, as we'll say. And the other angle, and I don't want to speak for you, but you are often dialed into the stallions, and Bolt d'Oro, who is, I think this is his first crop to race, is off to a very good start. So to me, it's 6-1-4, and I think most people are going to be around those 3.
Yeah,
for the same reasons: connections, race, and the stallion.
And we'll see how it all shakes out odds-wise, but I think I'll get some value on 30 Thou Kevin, the number 4 horse.
Yes.
And I went in
on
that
top,
direction
yes.
because Bolt d'Oro is off to such a spectacular start. The dam produces a sibling called Chestnut Checkers that's kind of interesting. Took 10 starts to win, which would normally make me shy away. But in those 10 starts, had the 1 win, 5 seconds, 4 thirds. So I thought there was a little win early, top and bottom. Danny Gargan can have them ready. We'll get a little bit of a price. I went in that direction. Half a chance. Experience counts. Yes. This one was a Wesley Ward turf sprinter in debut. I'll trust Wesley Ward with the surface switch. And there was a sibling for this one called Pronta that was second in debut and then won the next 2 starts. So trying to live up to the older sibling. And I put Chocolate Gelato in the 3rd spot. We'll see. Again, a little bit of buzz. This horse will take action. It's Pletcher Rapoli. It's $475,000. The horse worked 10 flat before the sale. Practical Joke on top. But I looked up, and there's 2 siblings that are combined 0-0-1 so far in their first 10 starts. So on the bottom side, the siblings, the siblings, I just was enough to. Well, with these connections, this horse still may live up to, again, a little bit of buzz, but it was enough there that I just shied away just a little bit.
Surprised for $500,000, they probably knew the stats.
Yeah,
also.
That's why I say this horse
one's
might run away. Work 10 flat before the 2-year-old
thing, you were way ahead of the curve on those workouts. You talked about that stuff. I used to look at you like, where do you get that from? I was like, Seth was those colder ones and everything. You were into that.
That's why I like the 2-year-old races. And it's not that hard to do a little extra work and find some stuff that's not on the page, and that's where you can find a little bit of value if you're seeing stuff that nobody else is.
My favorite. On to the 3rd race. Our first turf race of the meet on the Mellon Turf Course, or the main, or the outer, whichever you like to call it. At claimers in for $40,000, racing a mile and a 16.
I have a 2, 4, 9, and 6, and people who have been watching me for years probably realize I'm a guy who likes the Augustin horses coming to Saratoga. Now, for years, a big part of that was they were trained by Jonathan Shepard. But they would have, now this isn't the perfect Augustin move, but they would come in very often from Delaware. Now, the Shepard horses might come in off a 3rd or 4th place finish that would allow them to go at 8 or 9 or 10 to 1. And with teaming up with Augustin, you always knew, coming up to Saratoga, they're going to be well met. Well, I think with Jonathan Thomas, they're still going to be well met up here at Saratoga. However, this one comes in off a win at Delaware, so it comes in good form, but does have that owner angle that, normally in handicapping, I'm not looking at the owners that often, but up here at Saratoga and in some other situations, Klarovich and Chad Brown with 2-year-olds, I'm always intrigued there. So the owner plays a little bit into the handicapping here. High Tide in the 2nd spot comes in obviously off some good numbers, some good buyer numbers this year that maybe give this horse a little bit of an edge and maybe make the horse the one to beat. And then Grand Journey off the claim and into the barn of Rudy Rodriguez, and not only off the claim, it was a win. The race just before that, a good second place finish. So in good form, does move up. But again, there are races against better further down the page. So I don't think the class move is going to be an obstacle. And moving into the Rudy barn, first off the claim, he's good. I think Grand Journey is live in the third at Saratoga, 2, 4, 9, and 6.
Now, informed decision for your B there, who is also on my list. Was she the dual sprint winner?
That's a good question. You may be right.
Because I'm thinking, how many foals you think have parents with more Breeders' Cup trophies than B here, right? Because there's not too many mares that have won multiple. I guess it'd be a offspring of Goldakova if she was out of a Breeders' Cup winner mare. But I see the bottom part. My first, took to the third race, which isn't really too long. But number 5, Street Copper, is my top pick here, and I 15-1, I think is.
I looked at the price. The price
attractive.
is
I do not think this horse really is. I think this horse is like an 8-1 shot in the race. If you go back and watch the Fine Stakes, which was the only start of the year for this 7-year-old. Nick Papagiorgio, for fans of Vegas Vacation, won at 13-1. I thought this was a very good race to come back off the bench, and I think sets up very nicely for this start at a big price. And I think is right in the mix. Maybe 2 lengths need improvement, but that's even my first long shot play of the year. Take a look at the Find. It was Find with the D Stakes, which is a restricted taste, but I thought a good effort off the bench. I have High Tide for second, as does Seth. Carlos Martin sends out this horse who won a couple of races in the spring, and then B here, who will probably vie for favoritism in here off back-to-back efforts, but 5-4-2 in the third. We're up to our second break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll come right back. Middle part of today's opening day card from Saratoga.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Ridley.
Come on!
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. But here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish in the turn. Here's the wire. Final finish.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
Time now for the Dark Horse Play of the Day, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga. That's going to be a new addition to the program here, Handicappers Report, throughout the meet. Their slogan, or one of their slogans down there, the smart bet is always the Dark Horse. It takes only one upset to make history. And so, as a Dark Horse, we are looking for a horse that's maybe a little bit under the radar, offers some value. And today I have one in this upcoming fourth race, Timo, I'm guessing probably Timo, first-time starter, from Jonathan Thomas for Augustin, and it's a mile and 3/8, and they're debuting this horse. I mentioned earlier how much I appreciate and have over the years the Augustin horses coming up to Saratoga. I think they're typically well meant. I will say, top and bottom, the breeding is a little more miler. Lonro, the dam sire, and the dam herself, a little more mile. So I'm not totally convinced the distance is in the wheelhouse. I just thought, man, it's really interesting.
I think you're pretty good on the top side.
Well,
I mean, Dynaformer is looking for 3 turns to get warmed up.
Top
a stallion.
I was looking topside of the broodmare.
Oh, okay.
Lonro. He was more of a miler.
Yes.
The
But I
broodmare
like the
herself is
breeding.
the distance to me was a little bit of a question mark. Not to mention the distance is a question mark for a debut runner to begin with. So the horse could run last by 20 lengths, but you're going to get paid if you take the shot. We're looking at 10-1 on the morning line. I won't be shocked to see this one go up some points. So our dark horse play of the day for this opening day in race number 4 here at Saratoga, Timo. And again, the smart bet is always the dark horse. It only takes one upset to make history. And we thank our friends down at not only the Dark Horse Mercantile, but their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga. They'll be sponsoring this Dark Horse play of the day throughout the meet. They are in downtown Saratoga. Dark Horse itself, 445 Broadway, a little further down the street from Impressions. Great if you're just in town, you're coming up to the track and you're going downtown for dinner or whatnot, stop in one or the other or both. You will not regret it. You can browse in both of those stores for quite a long time to find memorabilia and Saratoga-related merchandise and apparel, and really a couple of fun stores to stop in. The Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga. There's today's Dark Horse play of the day.
Infrequently would I be driven to be interested in asking a trainer a direct question about a runner. Because first off, they have no vested interest in telling me the truth, and it just would make my handicapping more subjective. But this is a case where I would be very interested to hear Jonathan Thomas's thoughts behind debuting at 3 turns and 11 furlongs, because it's quite singular, and I would like to hear. I mean, this is an arduous task, to go. 11 furlongs, and this is a sharp operation. They're not. Lost on a condition book. So I'd be intrigued to see, well-founded, we're ready to go. We will not get fatigued. This is what I need. This is a rare case for me where I'd be like,
I'm very intrigued to see how the horse runs.
Revved up, and the other side to it is, as you said, being 20 lengths, or is it practice?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're tired of working this horse out. You want him to get a little sharper mentally, and we're building something here, which honestly would be, the camp you'd probably more think so. But as you said, getting paid, though, allows you to I always say this: the higher the price, the more questions you're allowed to ask. And that's very good for me.
Let me tee you up here. The 4th race, maiden specials, $105,000 up for grabs for maidens, going a mile and 3/8 on the grass.
Imagine they used to quote the number of $100,000 races Charlie Whittingham had won, and obviously the context was completely different than winning a maiden on opening day at the Spa. Now, I will say this: originally, I was 385, and Snow's Island though was going to be my 4th pick, and Remote, but I just couldn't. I mean, maybe Remote wins today at a short price for the historical silks of Claiborne Farms and Adele Jill Schneider. But Snow's Island, to me, that's where I want to be. I think I like the race going a mile and a quarter off of a freshening coming out of a mile down at Gulfstream Park. And I'll say this, and Seth, you've said it often, that it seems somewhat counterintuitive that the longer they go, maybe the more speed I want. And I have long been a fan at Saratoga of the long-winded turf marathons, but for a reason that I don't think most people is, and that is, I like the fact that it's 3 turns, because you run 2 turns down at Belmont Park for the majority of horses who come up here, and it's a different race. And I think speed can really help you out here, and I do think I have pedigree to get there. So Snow's Island, who's 6-1 in the morning line, and I think going to be all of that, is my top pick. Remote, who is realistically the horse to beat in here. 2 races back, the jockey was dumped right away. I wasn't sure they were going to, it was right in front of the starting gate, and you're like, well, obviously, the jockey's got to get up, and you're like, oh my goodness, the starting gate. But Trevor McCarthy got up, they ran the race, and Forwardly, who was on the rail but covered up with Flavian Prat at 3-1, scored the victory. Remote, to me, interesting first quarter mile of the race. And at Belmont Park, the mile and 3/8, the first quarter, is a straightaway where usually there might be less traffic than the turn, but take a look at that. I think Remote is definitely the horse to beat in here, but I'm going to put him in second. And for third, Good Soldier for Safi Joseph, coming off of the 3rd place finish in May. That was the seasonal debut. Tyler Gaffalione gets the mount today. And for who do I have for third? Number 5, Grand Key. So it's actually 6-3-8-5 because I put the 6 on top, but it's Grand. I know it looks like it should be pronounced Grand K, but it's Grand Key.
Yeah. I have it 6-3-5 and 2. So if people are looking for the dark horse play of the day, I had it in the 4th. I handicapped the way I think they're going to come under the wire.
Wow,
so
really?
I couldn't move the 2 up to the top spot necessarily, but I'm going to be boxing exactas and probably a triple box with these 4
because we handicap differently. But you like Snow's
I
Island?
do. I think this one, 3rd start back for the season. And I think this one is just primed for Danny Gargan to run well this afternoon in here. 1.25 miles last time, a good 3rd. So I think this one's primed for a good effort. Again, like you, Remote right in the mix. You draw a line through the race 2 back. I think people focus so much on buyer figures that there's no buyer on the last race. This one, people are still going to be all over this, but I think you might get a little more value than you would have had they plugged in a number there, because the first 2 buyers are pretty good, and the last race was very good. It's just didn't have a number. So I think that one is very playable. Grand Key in the 3rd spot, and then as I say, Timo or Timo. And again, expecting some good odds there. I'll take my 4 and box them up in an exact and a try in here. And I again, if the odds are right, and we probably have to go up a few more points from the 10-1, but I'll do a little win place on Timo as well in here. And the 4th at Saratoga, 6-3-5 and 2.
On to the 5th, State Bred. Maiden claimers in for 43-year-olds and up. Racing 6.
3, 4, 2, and 9. Majority partner on top. It's Jeremiah Engelhart. With a 3rd-time starter stepping out of Maiden Special Company, debuted against Open Maidens down at Gulfstream. Didn't show much that day, but benefited from the experience and the move in against State Breds last time to run a much better effort. I think it was an effort that's good enough to fit very well with these State Bred Maiden claimers. So 3rd start, class move, majority partner on top. Tommy Gunn in the 2nd spot, George Weaver trainee, also getting some class relief that I think will absolutely be beneficial. Same scenario for Catching Cupid, the Charlie Baker trainee. And another one I'll mention, the horse I have down in the 4th spot, like in the last race, I'll probably play around with this one if we get the morning line. I think Josie's Thunder for Dave Donk could be a little bit interesting in the debut. Nice little bullet workout coming into this, 15-1 on the morning line. So the 9 to me is intriguing. I have a 3, 4, 2, and 9.
All right, a quick note here: the 2, 3, 4 are first time in for a tag. The 9 and the 10 are debuting for a tag. Some similar numbers here, but I'm going to start with my top pick. And yes, in the Daily Racing Forum, at least the one I downloaded, Mark Henning is listed at 0 for 31 maiden 2nd start. I'm tossing that aside, and I'm 10-1 in the morning line. I think with that stat, I'm going to get that. But in the 2nd career start today, adding Blakers, a couple of quick notes on the debut. The winner was 5-2 on the front end every step of the way. The third place runner was the 7-5 shot. My top pick in today's race ran fourth. And in that fourth, you know, whether you want to say greenly or running like a drunken sailor in the lane, but didn't change leads until I think inside the 8th pole, and then sort of leveled out, but was running against better. And I'm just going to take Klingman with Luis Saez back in the saddle, as I mentioned, adding blinkers today. And I think the debut, even an off-the-board finish, was good. Could certainly improve with that seasoning. And yes, I am, you know, basically casting aside 0 for 31, which I would never do if this horse was 7-2 or something like this. But at $22, $24, $28, I'm happy to take that flyer. For a second, number 8, making the 3rd start of the year. The last race, beaten favorite. Quick note, the exacta, the winner was last to first. Both horses were, well, the second place runner was off the pace also. My pick was close to the pace, so I'm taking that. I like the 3rd start in the cycle, whether it's 3rd start in the career or 3rd start off a layoff. And the angle that I've liked is whether you debut or seasonal debut, it's a good effort. It's a slight muscle regression, maybe because of that effort, and then a move forward. And that's what, and for 3rd, number 3, majority partner, but 1-8-3 in the 5th.
Race number 6 on this Wednesday afternoon is starter allowance, the $50,000 level. They're on the grass at a quick 5.5 furlongs.
4, 10, and 5 for me, and Wesley Ward sends out Just Say When. We're on the same horse here. Irad Ortiz gets them out. Multiple layoff lines for this runner, never out of the exacta. Not this time. The good 2-year-old who was runner-up in the Breeders' Cup a couple of years ago to Classic Empire. Never ran again for Dale Romans, but he's, I think, turned out to be a very, very good stallion right off the bat. For second, number 10, Propensity. For John Kimmel, I think John Kimmel's got some live horses early in the meet. Good tactical speed from the outside. And for third, number 5, Fast and Furious, adding blinkers, first off the claim for Bruce Brown. 4, 10, 5.
Also 4 on top for me, 4, 9, 2, and 5. Just Say When. Turf Sprinter for Wesley Ward. Enough said. Although this one cuts back, and I'm not thrilled about cutbacks on the turf necessarily. But again, Wesley Ward with a Turf Sprinter and a horse that turf sprinted nicely 2 starts back. So we'll put that one on top. King Moon Racer in the 2nd spot. 2nd start of the season for the George Weaver trainee. The seasonal debut was a very good try. If this horse can build off of that, becomes absolutely dangerous in here. And Dark Timber. 10-1 on the morning line for Norm Cassie. Tyler Gaffleone on board, but more of a dirt horse in the career. 1 turf start down at the bottom of the page, and it wasn't much. I think the horse is better now. Lots of speed, a nice sprinter, and comes in with a bullet workout. If this horse holds up at the morning line, another intriguing potential price runner on the day. I have it 4, 9, 2, and 5.
Another thing we haven't talked about, I mean, for visitors into town, it's been a rather dry summer. Mm-hmm. We had a little rain overnight in the capital region, but you know how the turf course will play. I'm not so sure it will rattle their feet, but you got to think it's going to be pretty quick out there. All right, we're up to our final break. Will we come back? The late pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, especially in Saratoga, the graveyard of champions, where the dark horse can overcome the odds, defeating the favorites and wowing the crowds. The smart bet is always the dark horse.
Keen Ice has got him! Keen Ice has won the Trevors over American Pharoah in a dramatic
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Varley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player? To have a better knowledge of the game? To be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Handicappers Report alongside Seth Merrow. I'm Anthony Mormino. Race 7, 3-year-old fillies in the Wilton Stakes. 1 mile on the dirt. Haven't said that since 1992, but it was a little different configuration. What I read, they dismantled the original Wilson chute in 72. They've rebuilt it, so it's Wilson chute 2.0. Looked magnificent yesterday when I walked over. Went over to the track with you yesterday, then came back. So 1 mile, 3-year-old fillies.
I have it 1, 7, 4, and 2. I put Goddess of Fire on top. I think she was just a little bit overmatched in the Kentucky Oaks. I think in this ungraded stake, she's going to be a solid fit in here because she was very promising earlier this year for Todd Pletcher. Good second behind Kathleen O, who at that point was Kathleen O ran really well in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. And the second there I thought was promising. As I say, maybe just a little overmatched behind Secret Oath last time. I think she'll bounce back today. Second spot, Tarabi, lightly raced runner for Cherie DeVoe. Only one start this year, but showed a lot of promise last year as a 2-year-old. Won the debut at Ellis, which has become a nice starting point for a lot of 2-year-olds over the past few seasons. Then she came up, tried to spin away in start number 2. Hey, no shame in finishing second last year to Echo Zulu, and then ran third to Echo Zulu and Juju's Map in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly. Her seasonal debut, maybe a little bit disappointing in that she was 4-5 in there and ran second, but I mean, it was a June debut, so it seems like this horse will run decently here with a little fitness now under the belt. And then in the third spot, Angitude, who goes out for Brad Cox off a nice try last time to go through a first allowance condition and only the third start of the career. So lightly raced, but the last race seems to indicate now moving in the right direction in this upcoming start number 3 as a 3-year-old. I have it 1, 7, 4, and 2.
And I 6, 1, 7. I'll just touch on Favorite, who I think had little chance coming out of the black, had little chance in the Black-Eyed Susan coming out of the 12 post position. Now, the third place runner, Radio Days, came out of the 11th. But watch the video replay of the Black-Eyed Susan. You'll see they might have been close to each other in the starting gate, but that was it. One took the 45-degree angle over, and the other one did not. So it's 6-1-7 in the Wilton.
Optional claimers, non-winners who won other than...
quick note, the winner out of that won the Indiana Oaks the other day. So
Interstate did. Who is going to turn out to be a nice player in that 3-year-old filly division. Mile and an eighth on the grass in race number 8.
Now, quick note on these Interturf mile and eighth. Over the last 4 years, we've had 2 years, Seth, where we've only run 3 races at this distance. I always like it because you get the long run into the turn. We have our second one scheduled for tomorrow. Very rare. I think the other 2 years we've run about 6. So we don't run these races very often. We got them right off the bat. 12-6-1. Like I said, they start at the top of the stretch on the inner. I get the long run. I get Flavian Pratt. 4th career start. Linda's Gift, my top pick, an offspring of Arrogate. 4 second, number 6, Customer List. 3rd career start, gets Lasix today. One comment I'm going to make on the Penn Oaks awful effort the other day, basically stopped and everything. They listed the course as soft. When you watch the race, Seth, when I think of soft, I think of turf coming up. You watch that race, and I'm sure there was clearly give in the surface. but it wasn't the aesthetics that I expected with that labeling. And for third, number 1, so 12-6-1, and I think a terrific 8.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with the 6.
Yes.
The 6 could foil me a little bit. I went 11-9, 1 and 2. I put Wonka on top. Belmont trainee, came out of a maiden breaker in March to try Stakes Company and only the third career start. I thought it was a good fourth. So given that, now the experience under the belt, I think this horse is well spotted in here today, getting back to the more proper non-winner. So 1, second spot, Candy Light. Most of the recent races have been on dirt, but I had a couple of okay turf tries to start the career. The last race was in the aforementioned Black Eyed Susan behind Interstate Daydream, and it wasn't much of an effort, but again, I think is nicely suited to this non-winner. So 1, return, and the move back to the grass could be intriguing for Grand Motion at a 15-1 morning line. I think this horse will run better than that, one way or the other. And the number 1 in the third spot for me, the Christophe Clement runner, and the number 2 Bravo Kitten. I could have gone either way with those. To me, they're fairly evenly matched talent-wise, and so you're playing some of the triples or whatnot. I would kind of give those equal weight. I slightly gave an edge to the 1 in that it's only the third career start, maybe has a little more upside. But for me, in the 8th, 11-9, 1 and 2.
Scales will go off at 5:39. The 9th race, the traditional opening day feature, 2-year-old fillies. The Schuylerville going 6. And Seth, I doubt this has ever happened. I don't know this has never happened. No Naira horses.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't noticed
I
that.
can't imagine that's ever happened before in perhaps any of the 6 juvenile stakes races. But to see it on opening day, everybody shipping in.
I hadn't noticed that. 6, 3, 1 and 9 for me, in what I think is an intriguing edition of the Schuylerville.
I agree.
I went with Me and My Shadow and Adora, a couple of Mark Casse horses coming down from the synthetic at Woodbine. So the surface switch is going to be a big question.
And I have the other one.
Yeah,
it's a Mark Casse love fest.
It's just kind of the talent was enough. Certainly with Me and My Shadow. Adora maybe not quite as impressive number-wise, but won nicely, so I have them both in the mix. But Me and My Shadow, again, with a really good-looking debut, a solid number for a 2-year-old filly at this time of year. So I'll cross my fingers on the surface, but that is the question mark. But both of these, I think, will offer a little bit of value as well. Just Cindy and Summer Promise, I think both will take some action. I'm going to be interested to see who shakes out as the favorite in here, because I think either one of these...
I think it's interesting who's going to be the speed in the race.
Could
because there's some freakish type of not opening quarter mile speed, opening 16th of a mile out of the gate speed, and how the jockeys choose to attack that.
And again, I think it's a strong, intriguing field.
Absolutely.
And like a lot of 2-year-old races in the 2-year-old stakes races at this time of year in the 21st century, they're all trying to validate either a start or 2 under their belts. All of these have the 1 start under their belt, and so it's a little bit of an unknown, but I think there's a lot of potential here. I went 6, 3, 1 and 9.
I'm taking the maiden 5-1-6, Janice Joplin. Private purchase for Gary Barber after the debut, which off slowly, last is what it is. Finished 3rd on debut, gets Flavian Prat. It was nice to see that the Woodbine, so some of these 4.5 furlong races got buyer speed figures, which often isn't the case for the Keeneland 4.5 furlong races, but they did. One thing I'll say about the Mark Casse horses, which Seth and I have, of the first 5 baby races up at Woodbine this year, Mark Casse won 4 of them, all with chalk horses. You see a couple in here. So he was ready to go early this season, but 5-1-6 in a very competitive Schuylerville.
10th and final is going to go off scheduled about quarter after 6. $35,000 conditional claimers, non-winners of 2 lifetime, 5.5 on the grass.
Seth will be hanging off the rafters in the paddock bar going, is it Friday yet? 5-11-1. Fast Corey for Brad Cox, running for a tag for the first time, gets my top pick in Offspring a Practical Joke. I mentioned the top. For second, number 11, Train to Artemis. And for third, number 1 for Wesley Ward, 5-11-1.
6, 5, 10, and 8. I do think the 1 is interesting. I just missed my mix. Abuse of Power, though, for me on top. Down at Monmouth 2, back against allowance. Last time against allowance. I think dropping in for the tag could be the bonus here. Fast Corey in the second spot. Lately raced for Brad Cox, also with some class relief, and Dame Time comes in off the claim. One of those claims that I'm sure the folks are going, oh, he had to win the race, she had to win the race, but they did get a win, claimed the horse out of that, but I think in good form with some early speed.
Do you know the connections of Dame Time?
I know of.
Oh, okay, because I was wondering if they're basketball fans and it's Damian Lillard, who the great basketball player for the Portland Trailblazers, and they call him Dame, and it's Dame Time. I'd be interested to find.
Yeah, I'll check
very interesting.
I have it 6, 5, 10, and 8.
Great opening day card. Weather looks like it's even getting better in the 59 minutes we've been. I mean, it's gorgeous out, folks. It seems like it's getting sunnier out. I think it's a terrific opening day card. And the tough part about that is it's the opening day card. How you're going to move and groove, how's the course being played. But just enjoy it. It's very enjoyable. 10 races today. Kick off at 1:05, and just doesn't get any better than this.
Absolutely. So 1 down, 39 to go. You and I are going to be in doing the Handicappers Report
Would have
every
sounded
morning.
so much better at 24 years of age, but happy to do it at nearly 59.
And then 10 a.m., well, we went over it yesterday. I'll go over it quickly again today. 10 a.m., you'll be doing a kind of a fun show on Wednesdays, looking back at the previous week and some trends and whatnot, pace scenarios, what the human side are doing, yada, yada. That'll be Wednesdays. You will see coming up top of the hour, just a minute or so away, Thursday, Racing Across America. Anthony and I will be in. I'll be in Fridays and Saturdays, and then on Sundays, loose on the lead with Steve Bick and myself. So that's the schedule. So we'll head into the Thursday edition of Racing Across America momentarily.
We will do that. So that wraps up the Handicappers Report each morning, Wednesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. Stay tuned. Up next, Racing Across America.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
You're watching OTB TV.